Hey guys, what is up people? How are you guys doing? Hoping that all of you guys are doing good and taking very good care of yourself. Welcome back to today's session. We are in the chapter magnetic effect of electric current and we're going to be talking about the third session of today. That is the third session for today is this force on current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. Basically, we'll be talking about the Lorentz force and also the Fleming's left-hand rule as well. So without any further delay, let us get started. But as always, guys, there's a quote always waiting for you guys. The quote for today is this: luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I totally believe that there is nothing called as luck. You only consider a person as to be lucky when he's actually, given his best. So when a person gives his best, to the other people around him, it might seem like he's getting lucky, but you know that you've prepared you have done your part, and that is what is yielding you the success. So yes, there's nothing called as luck, guys. Make sure that you work for your goals, and that is what is going to get you to success. With that said, guys, let us get into today's session. So today, people will be learning about the force experienced by a charged particle. But before that, guys, in the last session, I'd given you homework, and the homework was this: if the current in a loop flows clockwise, the magnetic pole developed is what? And the answer to this question, guys, if the current is flowing in clockwise direction, then the magnetic pole developed is south pole. So whichever side you're facing, that would be the magnetic south pole. And if the current is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, then the side that you're facing would be the magnetic magnetic north pole, if the direction of the current is anti-clockwise. All right, people. So with that said, let us understand Lorentz force, or force on a current carrying conductor. Now, people, in the last session, we had seen that when the current is passing through a conductor, there's a magnetic field created around it. Very simple. We have seen that if you use the right hand thumb rule, you can find out the direction of the current and the direction of the magnetic field as well. Awesome. Now, the moving charges also experience a force when there is an external magnetic field. Now, we're going to talk about that today. What happens when you create an external magnetic field? What is the kind of force that is experienced by the charge? So what is basically, you guys already know that current is nothing but flow of charges. So what is the force experienced by that charged particle when there's an external magnetic field? What is the force experienced on it? That is what we're going to talk about in today's session. That force, my friends, is what is called as Lorentz force. The force experienced by a charged particle in a magnetic field or an electromagnetic field, that is what is called as Lorentz force. So people, let us understand that with a very simple experiment. All right, this is what the experiment looks like. So there's a horseshoe magnet where the north pole is on the top, south pole is on the bottom. There's a battery, a very simple battery connected, and there is there's a wire passing through the particular horseshoe magnet as well. Now here's the thing: these 2 points, the conductor or that particular wire is actually free to move like a pendulum. So imagine that this thing can go front and back, all right, because we want to see what is the force being applied on it. That is why we're going to consider that to be that is that's a moving part which can move like a pendulum front and back. Now here's the thing: there's a magnetic field created because of the horseshoe magnet. There's a magnetic field created which basically looks like this. So the direction of the magnetic field will be north to south, because we have already seen that magnetic field lines, the direction of the magnetic field would always, or it generates from the north pole and ends in the south pole. Here also it's no different, north to south pole. Very simple. Now there's a conductor placed in between over here, right? There's a conductor placed in between over there. Awesome. Now we're going to talk about what would happen if the current starts flowing through it. So when the current starts flowing through it, what happens? The charges also starts moving. When that charge starts moving, because of the external magnetic field, because of the horseshoe magnet, it experiences a force, and that force pulls that conductor towards the magnet. You look at it, it's moving towards the magnet because of the force that is experienced by the moving charges inside that conductor. Now here the current is flowing from positive terminal to negative terminal. We are going to take the conventional current itself. We are not going to talk about the actual current. We're going to talk about the conventional current itself. So if I change the polarity, if I were to change the polarity of this battery from positive, I'm going to invert it, connect this to be the negative, this to the positive terminal. You see that the conductor is moving, the conductor that is between the magnetic field is actually moving away from the magnet. Now why does this happen? Because of the magnetic field and because of the flow of charge, because of the flow of the current, there is a force experienced by the electrons, by the charged part, not the by the charged particles moving inside of it, and that force is what is allowing that conductor to move away from the magnet or towards the magnet. That, my friends, is what is called as the Lorentz force. So as the direction of the current reverses, you can see that the direction of the field by the conductor also reverses. You see that the conductor is moving back and forth. Again, why you change the polarity from positive to negative, you change it to negative to positive. So what happened because of that? There's a change in the the magnetic field as well, and because of that, there is a change in the direction of the movement of that conductor. Simple as that. Now, here guys, if you want to change the direction of the movement of the force experience, if you want to change the direction of the force at which, or the moment of that particular conductor, you could also reverse the magnet as well. So you can put this as the south pole and this as the north pole, and you will still see that the conductor or the conductor would move in different directions. Again, because when that happens, the flow, this time you're changing the magnetic field. Initially, the first case, you change the direction of the magnetic field created by the flow of current. Here you're changing the actual magnetic field itself, the external magnetic field, which also tends to bring about some change in the direction of that force experienced by the conductor. Now people, in conclusion, what is the thing that we just saw right now? The direction of force applied by a magnetic force is affected by two things. One is the direction of the magnetic field itself and the direction of current. The direction of force on that conductor is influenced by two different things. One is the direction of the magnetic field. The second is the direction of the current. As simple as that. Now, we're going to talk about what is the way for you to find out what is that direction. How do you find out the direction? Now here's the thing guys, the application of this is very important, because this is how the motors that you have right now works. All the kind of motors, the electric motors that you think of, everything works on this principle. Now imagine this, there are so many things around you which depends on motors, starting from a simple fan which keeps you cool. Imagine our life without this force. It would have been so much more harder. It would have been so much more different. So thanks to this, we are able to do that. So let's talk about the Fleming's left hand rule. So yes guys, let's talk about the Fleming's left hand rule right now. Now, according to Fleming's left hand rule, if you were to extend your left hand, your index finger, your middle finger and your thumb, if you were to extend it like this, each being mutually perpendicular to each other, that means this is perpendicular to this, this is perpendicular to this, all of these are perpendicular to each other. If you extend it like this, what it tells you is basically the direction of the magnetic field, the direction of the current, and the direction of the force applied as well. So basically guys, if you extend your arm like this, the thumb would indicate the direction of the force, the index finger would indicate the direction of the magnetic field, and your middle finger indicates the direction of the current. Now the easier way to remember it is basically like this. So direction of the force, so write it as F. Direction of the magnetic field, write it as M, and the direction of current, write it as C. So basically the way to remember it is guys like father, mother, and child. So father, mother, and child. So what are you trying to find out? You're trying to find out the force. So if you know the direction of the magnetic field, if you know the direction of the current, you can find out the direction of the force. So that is what the Fleming's left hand rule tells us. Once again guys, if you were to extend your arm, your fingers, again, all mutually perpendicular to each other. This is perpendicular to this, this is perpendicular to this, and if you talk about this one itself, this is also perpendicular to this one as well. So these are all perpendicular to each other. Now, if you were to extend your fingers like that, this thumb indicates the direction of the force, the index finger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, and your middle finger indicates the direction of the current. As simple as that. So people, let's talk about what are the factors that affects the Lorentz force, or the force experienced by a current, by a charge in a magnetic field. Let's talk about what are the factors that is affecting it. So this is the first factor, because the first factor is basically the magnetic force on a current carrying conductor is increased if the current passing through the conductor is also increased. So force experienced by a charge would increase if in case you were to increase the current. So F is directly proportional to I, where I is the current flowing through the conductor. That is the first thing. The second factor that it depends on is basically the permanent magnetic field itself. So if you increase the strength of the magnetic field, the force experienced by the conductor would also be more. It is directly proportional. The force on the current carrying conductor is directly proportional to the magnetic field, the permanent magnetic field, or the external magnetic field as well, where the magnetic field is denoted as the letter B and force again is represented as F. So F is directly proportional to B. The third factor that Lorentz force depends on is the length of the conductor. So if you increase the length of the conductor, the force would also be more. More is the length, more would be the force experienced by that current carrying conductor as well. So people, in conclusion, we just saw that force is directly proportional to the current, force is directly proportional to the magnetic field, force is directly proportional to the length of the conductor as well. So you can write it as force is directly proportional to the IBL or BIL, whichever way is easier for you to remember. Now, to remove the proportionality the sign, I'm going to introduce a constant called as K, where the value of K is 1. So if you introduce that constant 1, then you'll get it as force is equal to BIL, where B is nothing but the magnetic field, the I is nothing but the current, and the L in that equation is nothing but the length of the conductor. As simple as that. But the formula is not complete, guys. The actual formula is F is equal to BIL sine theta, where sine theta or theta is nothing but the angle between the direction between the current as well as the magnetic field. What was the angle formed between the magnetic field and the current? That is what is represented by theta. But this is something that you'll study in your higher grades, in your 11th and 12th grade, so you don't have to worry too much about it. For now, just remember this, guys. The force experienced by a current carrying conductor is equal to BIL, where B is the magnetic field, I is the current, and L is the length of the conductor. As simple as that. So as always, guys, let us do some questions. But before we do the question, guys, as always, I have a simple announcement to make. I hope you guys, many of you guys already know about it, but for all the new students out there, listen to me very, very carefully for the next 2 minutes, because it's going to be super, super important. So guys, in this pandemic time, once again, you guys have come up with a lot of problems, more problems than ever. You guys have so many issues that you're facing, and some of these issues are like doubts. Sir, my doubts are not getting cleared, even though there are a lot of websites out there which can clear the doubts, but then they take a tat from 24 hours to about 48 hours, so it's too long for me to wait for a one-line answer. Second thing that you have problems with is notes. So whatever you study, you're not able to get the notes of that. How do you download the notes? Now we are trying to solve these problems by putting down in the description below, we are able to download the notes as well, but that is still not enough. There is still some gap left out. How do you fill up the gap? Other than that, tests and assignments are also one more thing. Sir, how do I just go and write my exams? I need to prepare, I need to practice. So where do I get the tests and assignments that are needed? And how do I prepare for competitive exams like your NSOs, KPY, NTSCs, any kind of competitive exam that you guys are planning to write? How do I prepare myself for that? And other than that, choice of your own schedule, because many of you guys have this problem that, sir, so-and-so time I have my guitar class, I have my football classes, so-and-so problems that you have, and you're not able to attend the class when the teacher is teaching. So I want a time where I am able to go in and I don't have to worry about whether the teacher is, whether I am able to adjust my time to the teacher's time. You guys would have that problems as well. Other than that, choice of your own language, that is also one more problem, because you know that in India there's so many languages that are spoken from north to south to east to west, but the most commonly spoken languages are English and Hindi. So if I want to study in a particular language, how do I do that as well? Now people, here at Vedantu, we have tried to solve all these problems. Now let me tell you how do we solve these problems. In the class, guys, you have a two-teacher model. You'll have someone called as the master teacher and the class teacher. Master teacher is the one who will be teaching you guys the concept, and the class teacher would be helping you clear your doubts. So you get personalized attention, making sure that your doubts are cleared inside the class itself. You can download the notes how many ever number of times that you want. Once the session is done, you can download it and read through it how many ever number of times you want. Tests, you will have regular tests and assignments at the end of every chapter and at the end of every month to check where you're going wrong and what are the things that you can do to improve yourself. You'll have free training for your competitive exams, whatever trainings, whatever preparations that you need we will be helping you out with that as well. You can choose your own schedule, whatever time you feel like studying, you can choose that time. Classes will be going on 24/7. Whenever you feel like studying, you can choose that time and study with that particular teacher, and you can choose your own language. Now here at Vedantu, we have tried to solve this problem by providing you with English and Hindi. We don't have regional languages as of now. Maybe in the future we would have it, but for now it's stuck with we're stuck with Hindi and English, and majority of the country speaks these two languages, so that is not a problem. So we're trying to solve that problem using that as well. So people, with this you'll also be getting unlimited live classes. So if you want to attend, let's say 20 classes in a day, you can go ahead and do that. Nothing would ever stop you except your own willpower to sit there for 20 hours straight in front of a computer. Apart from that, you'll have all micro courses and crash courses available to you for free of cost. So micro courses are those where you want to study a particular chapter or a particular topic. You can study that alone. You'll get performance report card which tells you where you're going wrong. The tests and assignments that you took, you will be getting a detailed report of where you're going wrong, what are the things that you can do to improve yourself, every such things to make yourself better. And like I told you, you'll be getting personalized attention with the help of the class teachers. Now what you have to do is very simple, guys. Visit this website vdnt.in/ytpro. Now when you visit this website vdnt.in/ytpro, remember this, if you visit this website, you will get this kind of pop-up which says which grade are you in. For now we are catering from 1 to 12th grade. In the future we might go beyond that as well. For now it's 1 to 12th grade. Let's say that you click on 10th grade. Let's say that you're a 10th grade student and you clicked on that. So you'll get the next option is which grade are you in? Which syllabus do you follow at school? Do you follow a CBSE syllabus, ICC or Maharashtra board? So these are the three syllabuses that are offered right now. In the future we'll be adding more to that as well. So let's say you're in CBSE syllabus. When you click on that, guys, you will get this screen which is the pro course. So this pro course would basically what and all I've told you, everything would be in a glance. If you want, you can stop the video and go through this as well. What you do is that basically click on get subscription. Once you click on get subscription, what happens is that you get this window. Now here it says 1 month, 3 months and 6 months. So let's say that you are someone who wants to try out for the first month and you want to try out for the next 30 days, which is the 1 month course. So we click on that. The base price of that is 4,000 rupees. A primary discount would be added to it without you doing anything. So you'll get the price down to 2,699 rupees. That is what you're essentially paying. But if you want a discount on top of that, you can use the coupon code AKPRO and you'll get a 400 rupees discount, making the essential price to be 2,294 rupees, which will be the payable amount. Now, let's say that you want to try out the 3-month course. So if you try the 3-month course, the base price is 10,000 rupees, but the primary discount itself would be 6,999 rupees. And if you want a further discount on that, you'll get a 1,049 rupees discount if you use the coupon code AKPRO, and you'll be essentially paying 5,949 rupees. Now, if you want the 6-month course, the base price is 16,000 rupees. If you use the without anything, the primary discount itself is 11,499 rupees. And if you use the coupon code AKPRO, you'll get it down to 9,774 rupees, which means you're getting a discount of 1,724 rupees. That is after applying the coupon. People, let's do some math. All right. So this is the primary course, subscription fees for all 3 courses, for all the 3 subscription courses. The primary discount makes it to 2,999, 6,999 and 11,502 rupees. And if you use the AKPRO discount code, you'll get it to 2,294, 5,949 and 9,774 rupees. Now, here's the thing, guys. Let's say that you are attending about 6 classes or 8 classes in a day. All right, you have 6 subjects. That is your science, all 3 science, social science, math, as well as English. So 6 subjects. Let's say that you are attending about 8 classes in a day. So in a week, that's about 6 days. Sundays are holiday. So let's say that you're attending for 6 days. That's about 48 classes. For my simple understanding, let's say it's 50 classes. So in a month, which has 4 weeks, you'll be attending essentially about 200 classes. 50 classes into 4, so you'll be attending about 200 classes. Let's calculate what is the cost of each and every class that you take at Vedantu if you go with the 1-month course, 3-month course, as well as a 6-month course. So after discount, this is what you're going to get. 2,299 rupees for 200 sessions in a month, 30 days. And if you go with the 3-month course, 5,949 rupees is what you pay, and you'll be attending 600 classes in 3 months span. 9,774 rupees for the 6-month course, and you'll be attending 12,000 sessions, 1,200 sessions in 6 months span. So let's divide it and calculate what will be the price of it. So if you divide it, guys, you can try it out by yourself, use a calculator, and you'll see that the course price is For each and every class, you'll be paying 11 rupees 47 paise for the 6 month for the 1 month course, 9 rupees 19 paise for the 3 month course, and 8 rupees 145 paise for your 6 month course. So essentially, you're paying less for the more number of days that you take. And people, this price is less than what we spend for eating things like Lay's, right? Which has 80% nitrogen and nothing else. So people, what I'm trying to say is this, Vedantu, we're trying to provide quality education to the majority of the country with the least cost possible, and this is one way to do it. You clearly see that you're paying less than 10 rupees, or if you take the 1 month course, it's 11 rupees for each and every class. As simple as that, guys. So what you have to do is basically this: visit the website vdnt.in/ytpro, and I've told you what now to do. Use the coupon code. Don't forget the coupon code AKPRO. As simple as that. With that said, guys, let us now solve some questions. So here's the first question. A positive charge is moving upward in a magnetic field directed towards north. The particle will deflect towards what direction? West, north, south, or east? Use the Fleming's left-hand rule, guys. So they're asking you what is the direction of the force. So imagine this: the positive charge is moving towards moving upwards in a magnetic field. So the magnetic field is towards north. So which is the magnetic field? Your index finger is the one that indicates the magnetic field. So magnetic field is towards the north. Then what would be the direction of the particle? It will be towards the west. So the right answer will be towards the west. Imagine that the current is passing towards towards this direction, towards me, then or to outside the screen. Then the force acting on it would be towards the west. That will be the answer, guys. So your again, this is the direction of the magnetic field because your index finger is the one that directs towards the magnetic field. Imagine the current is flowing this way. That means it is basically perpendicular, and you see that the force would be acting towards a west side or the west direction. As simple as that. Second question: which of the following factors affect the strength of the force experienced by a current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field? Magnetic field strength, magnitude of the current in the conductor, length of the conductor within the magnetic field, or all of the above. So your question is, which of the following factors affect the strength of the force experienced by the current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field? And these are the options: magnetic field strength, the magnitude of current in the conductor, or the length of the conductor within the magnetic field, or all of the above. And the answer, guys, let me know in the comment section below. The answer is option number D, which is all of the above, because yes, we have just seen that force experienced by a conductor F is equal to what? BIL, where B is nothing but the so it is small l. So B is nothing but the magnetic field, I is nothing but the current, and L is the length of the conductor. So all of these are the factors that affect the force experienced by a current carrying conductor. Simple as that. Third question: find the direction in which Lorentz force act in this case. Now again, guys, I want you guys to let me know what is the answer in the comment section below. So the current is in acting towards is in the direction of the current is towards the north. The magnetic field is from west to east. Find out what is the direction of the force experienced by the conductor. So the answer, guys, is it out of the page, into the page, to the right, or to the left? So do it with me. Current is in this direction, that is indicated by your middle finger. The magnetic field is towards this direction. The magnetic field is towards this direction. So what will be the direction of the force experienced by the conductor? It will be into the page. That is the answer, guys. The answer would be into the page. As simple as that. That's all. Into the page, right? Next question: in which direction will the wire tend to move? So there's a magnetic field here. The direction of the current is this way, from again towards west to east direction, and the magnetic field is north to south. So basically, it'll be this way. The magnetic field is acting towards the north. Find out what is the direction of the force experienced by the conductor. Your options are north, south, into the page, or out of the page. Once again, do it with me, guys. So the magnetic field is towards the north, right? The current is flowing towards this side. What will be the direction of the force experienced by the conductor? It will be towards me, or towards or outside the page. The answer would be out of the page, which is option number D. Simple, people. Now again, I want you guys to try it out and do let me know what is the answer in the comment section. But don't just copy paste the answer. That is not going to help you at all. Try out these questions because it's going to be very, very important that you practice. All right. With that said, guys, this is the homework for today. Let me know what is the answer in the comment section below. The question is this: which law can help us find the direction of the force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field? Let me know what is the answer in the comment section below. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you did learn something new today. Leave a like if you did enjoy the session, and share and subscribe so that you can be notified of the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you for joining. See you all in the next one. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at anup.manon@vedanta.com. Thank you for joining, guys. See you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.